Happy New Year. Welcome back to another episode of the Essex Allotment Farm. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Alex. This is my market garden where I grow vegetables commercially for markets, farmers markets, and my veg box service. Anyway, it's Monday the 3rd of January, I think, if that makes sense. I've grabbed my morning coffee. I'm going to give you a quick update on my garlic and how it's going so far, what varieties that I've got in the ground, what my plan is going forward to look after it and maintain it. And yeah, that's about it. Get back into vlogging in the new year. I've said this 100 times, but yeah, loads of stuff going on, but I'm back. So stick with me because I've got some exciting stuff planned for this year. Anyway, let's jump straight into it and let's go and talk about garlic. So I'm stood in block B, which is, for those of you who are familiar with my vlogs, the second block of beds along. This is where I grew the garlic last year under this matting here, just letting this ground rest, take some of the weed pressure down under black matting, and we'll come to replant something else in this next year. Now, garlic went particularly well last year, so I haven't moved it too far. It was pretty disease-free, pest-free, and also, again, for those of you who are familiar with my vlogs, my farm sort of slopes away from where I'm at now, so I'm at sort of like the top of the hill here, and it slopes that way. So I didn't want to put them over there in the far corner with the risk of them getting rot or becoming too waterlogged. You can see a little bit there where the soil's not so prepped that it's holding more water than this part of the farm up here. Anyway, that's the positioning, which means nothing to you lot, but it's my vlog, so I'll do what I want. I'm going for 2 beds this year. I did 4 last year and it was way too much. I ended up just literally giving it away because I grew too much. Garlic's really cheap. It's not a high value crop for me, so there's enough to service my veg boxes and a few farmers markets. Other than that, it's not a high value crop and it takes up a lot of bed space for a long period of time, albeit most of it's over the winter. Anyway, as far as varieties go, I'm doing one soft neck variety here in the 3 different sort of timed planting. So they were put in the ground in between beginning of November and the middle of December, and as you can see, the ones down the far end, we will have a closer look at this, doing a bit with the first ones in, the middle ones with the next, and then we've just started to get some action down this end of the bed, so we've got 3 successions within one bed. That soft neck variety is called Germador. It's a purpley variety. I think it's originally French. It's really disease resistant and low maintenance, so perfect for commercial growing. In the second bed, which is this one here, planted again towards the end of November, hence the reason not much of it's come up, is my hardneck garlic, which is purple glazer, I think it's called off the top of my head. If it's different, I'll put it over the top of the screen. You can see that's only just started to come up. There's about 450 bulbs, or will be bulbs at the moment, cloves in each of those beds, so we're cutting down. I did about 2,200 bulbs of garlic last year. I'm cutting down by half, so you know, we're looking at somewhere between 800 and 1,000 viable garlic bulbs when it comes to the end across these 2 beds. I don't go for massive ones, I just go for standard size quality garlic, so I can get away with spacing them quite close together. The one thing that did go well last year was garlic scapes. Like, loads of people were interested in garlic scapes, so I've done the hardneck garlic again this year, so that I will get garlic scapes from those. I'll try and dig out a picture or a video of some garlic scapes for you to have a look at, but they're a nice delicacy and there was lots of interest in those last summer, at the beginning of last summer. They were a great talking point for my farmers markets because they're a little bit different. People aren't necessarily used to them. So I'll be harvesting and selling those again this year, which will be fantastic. And like I said, you get 1 per plant, so you're looking at 400 hardneck garlic in the ground, maybe 400 garlic scapes if all goes well. So these ones have been in the ground the longest, I would say beginning of November, so at least 2-4 months. They're looking pretty good, they're looking nice and healthy. Yeah, there's not much you can tell at this point. They just look as good as can be. These are the second variety. If I swing around, sorry, same variety, second sowing. You can see they're a little bit further behind. And then as we walk down here, great camera work, we move on to our third. And they're about 3 weeks apart, each individual one is about 3 weeks apart. So it'll give you an idea of the growth difference between 3 weeks. Now the reason I've done that is because last year I ended up having to try and harvest, because I needed the bed space, 2,000 garlic in one go, and that's the reason I've cut down this year a little bit, as well as the reasons that I talked about, not high value crop, takes up a lot of space, etc, etc. But also like harvesting is a big deal, like it takes a long time. You think with the hardneck you're going along and literally picking 400 scapes off of it before you've then got a 400-500, between 400 and 500 scapes. You're then picking or harvesting up between 400 and 500 garlic bulbs themselves, and you'll all know is if you're growers already that you need to get your fork in there, and there's a lot of soil disturbance. It's not just a case of just pulling them out by the neck, because by that time the ground around them's gone through getting soaked in the winter and then rock hard in the early parts of summer and spring. And then I've got to do the same again here. So by giving myself sort of 3 week gaps in between them, it just makes the managing at the far end, i.e. harvest, a little bit easier for myself. We know that's not necessarily not necessarily necessary. Cool, blimey, good for first vlog back. But because garlic stores really well, so you can harvest it up, it just, in my head, it's going to make it easier. And well, 9/10 of gardening's in your head anyway, so certainly in mine. Anyway, I've walked down here to my sort of perennial herby bit, and I'm just trying out a new variety of garlic down here in the edge that I've never grown this year. Let me just spin you around. So this variety is a hardneck and it's called Mechi. Went in the same time as the first softneck. These were actually the first ones that I planted, maybe a day or two before those. And then there's a few more over there, you can see. But this is purely just a couple of bulbs split into cloves for a bit of a experience, see if I can see what this variety's like. I think it's Mechi, M-E-T-I-C-H-I, I think. And if I like it, I might put it into sort of mass growing next year, just to mix it up a little bit. Finally, what I'll do is I'll let them get established in the ground. They're in no dig beds or limited till beds. I've put a fresh layer of compost on top before I planted them out. And then they've had a layer of alpaca manure, which I'll go into in a compost video later in the week or the month or whenever I get time to do it. So a layer of alpaca manure that's really high in nitrogen, and it's rich and it's great for the soil. Oh, someone's going past, waving at me. I'm in my shed. I've got to keep the neighbours happy. And then I'll finish off by mulching them with something strawy, hay based, like I did last year. I found that that really helped the weed pressure more than anything else. So I'll let them get their first frost. I'll let them, bless me, what a vlog, what a first vlog back. But I'm not doing any editing or anything like that, so make sure you say bless you. Yeah, so a layer of straw or hay or something like that to bed them in once they've had a couple of frosts. I found that just kept the weed pressure down. And then that'll be it until, like I said, I come to harvest the scapes and then harvest the bulbs themselves. I won't feed them, I won't do anything. The alpaca manure and fresh layer of compost will provide all the nutrients that the garlic needs. The ground's pretty good fertility wise anyway, so that should be it. For new growers out there that you might have stumbled across my body, it's a really, really easy crop to grow. It doesn't take too much maintenance, it doesn't take too much looking after. It's more, if you get the positioning right of where you're putting it, i.e. so it doesn't get too waterlogged, it doesn't sit wet for long periods of time and risk rot, then you should be in for a decent garlic harvest pretty easily. Right, that's it for today. I'm going to crack on with a few jobs. I just thought I'd give you a little simple garlic update and get back into the habit of vlogging. Thanks for joining me. Please hit like and share it and do all those things that help my channel grow. It's much appreciated, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye bye.